Hello everybody, the Great Dino Ranger here again, back with another review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Jurassic World Hammond Collection True Effects Stegosaurus. So as you all know, this is another item that I got for Christmas, and I can't wait to get a closer look at it because this figure looks amazing. This is definitely Mattel's best Stegosaurus, even with it just still in the box. It is the best Stegosaurus from Mattel. I love the size, and I love how we got a true Lost World Stegosaurus design instead of a Jurassic World one. Although I like the Jurassic World one a bit more than the Lost World one, but still, I'm glad we have an official Lost World one from Mattel. And I'm just super excited to have this figure in my hand because this thing just looks amazing, and I'm super glad that Mattel's finally given us a Stegosaurus in the Hammond collection. Yeah, here's a brief look at the packaging here. It's your typical, Hammond collection packaging. You got the Jurassic World T-Rex logo right there. An old school Jurassic World render from 2015. So pretty nostalgic to see that, although it's not the correct Stegosaurus in terms of design for this figure. But it's really nice to see this old render. And then you got Jurassic World Hammond collection Stegosaurus right there. True effects and a good look at the figure. And here at the top, it just says Jurassic World. And then here on the side, you got a lot of cool stuff on this side as well. You got the Hammond Collection logo up there. And then a really nice picture and bio of the Stego from the movie. That says, admiring the distinctive plates and spiked tail, Dr. Sarah Harding comes up close to a young Stegosaurus. While trying to capture a photo, the noise from her camera causes the Stegosaurus herd to go on the attack. And as you can see, you have a picture of a shot from the movie of the Stegosaurus attacking Sarah after startling their baby. So that's really cool. I really love when Mattel does little bios like these because it kind of gives you a bit more history of the figure that you're getting, what movie it's from and what scene. As you can see down here, it's from the Lost World Jurassic Park, so I love seeing that logo on this packaging. And then on the other side, you got the Hammond Collection logo. And then here on the back, you got a lot of cool stuff. You got the Hammond Collection logo again, Stegosaurus, and the same bio that we got on the side of the packaging, as well as the Lost World Jurassic Park logo again, and a bunch of cool renders of the figure in different poses. So I'm really excited to see what kind of cool poses I can get into this figure for future pictures. And then here it says True Effects, Premium Details for Enhanced Realism. So yes, a lot of cool stuff here. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for the packaging. So yeah, let's go ahead and get a closer look at this awesome figure. Alrighty, so here we have the Hammond Collection Stegosaurus out of the package. And holy cow, this thing is huge. That's probably my biggest standout with this figure. Having it out of the box and the tail attached and everything is just the overall size of the Stegosaurus. This thing is a perfect size. It's a much better improvement over the sizes of the previous Stegosauruses that we've gotten from Mattel. This one is just, it's bulkier, it's just bigger. It's just a much more impressive size for a Stegosaurus figure or toy in general. It's such an awesome improvement over the previous ones. And it's also kind of nice too how Mattel has finally given us a proper The Lost World Stegosaurus, since the previous ones they've been making have all just been the Jurassic World Stegosaurus, which to me there's nothing wrong with that. I love that design. I think it's really cool. It's probably my favorite design for a Stegosaurus in the franchise. But the Lost World one, that one Mattel hasn't really made a proper figure of one. I know they tried to attempt that in 2022, but they just basically repainted a Jurassic World Stegosaurus to look like the Lost World one, which, I mean, that's cool, but it doesn't really quite count. This one has like everything right with the Lost World one. It's got the correct design and sculpt and colors. So this one is it's super impressive. And for a Stegosaurus figure, I think this is definitely Mattel's best. Even though the Jurassic World one is my favorite design, I think this figure right here is Mattel's best Stegosaurus they've ever made. I just think the size, the detail, I think more of just the size is what makes the Stegosaurus so awesome. And I can't wait to get to comparisons later. But yeah, I'm really excited to have this one in hand. It's gonna look huge compared to my other Stegos. And yeah, I'm just really excited to have it. And it's nice to have a, like I said, a proper Lost World Stego. Those ones are very nostalgic, in my opinion, watching the Lost World a lot. So it's kind of cool to have that certain design in figure form. And it kind of reminds me of the little model or the maquette that they used for the film. And it looks straight out of the movie, in my opinion, the design and everything. It's like a mix between the animatronic as well as the CGI model. It's just awesome. So taking a look at the head right here, it's your classic Lost World Stegosaurus head sculpt, because the head sculpt on these ones are a lot different than the Jurassic World ones. But it looks just like it. It's got the little beak up there in the front. It's got that almost like that angry or frowny appearance with the little eye ridge right there. You can see some nice little sculpted scales on the top right there, almost like a checkers board kind of style a little bit, or maybe crocodilian, where they're kind of like square like that. And you got some larger ones above the eye. The beak is nicely sculpted. You got the little nostril right there. Nice sculpts in the skin texture with the wrinkles, or just the certain lined texture on the skin, which is really cool, because you get a lot more of that on this Stego, whereas the one in Jurassic World is just covered in scales. The eye is really cool, and this one does have a glass eye, and it looks pretty good. Depending on where your light is shining, it shines really well. But the Stegosaurus in the Lost World, I feel like had more of just plain dark or black eyes. I would have been fine if they just added that to this figure, but the glass eye treatment is pretty good on this one. And then on the neck, you got some nice little wrinkles, some line textures in the skin right here, some more skin folds, some nice little texturing. And then same when we get to the rest of the body, you got some really nice skin texture sculpted in, like here on the body, just some nice just skin molded in kind of like scales. I think they are scales, but they're kind of like just blocky patches of just the skin, which kind of give off the look of scales, but that's what I'm getting with this one. But either way, they look really good, and that nice little dry brushing kind of brings out that detail, so that's much appreciated. And you got some more right here around where the shoulder blade is, and then here on the side of the body right here, some more creases, some nice little detail, some lined texture going around the side right there. And like I said, the dry brushing really brings out the sculpt. And then here on the front limbs, some nice muscles kind of sculpted into the figure as well, and some nice texture of the skin. Like I said, not a lot of scales, but some nice rough texture sculpted in, which looks really nice. And you got the classic Jurassic Park Stegosaurus feet that are not accurate to the real animal, but accurate for a Jurassic Park standards. But it's got 5, I guess you could say toes, but just hoof-like digits, I guess you would say. Very elephant-like, but pretty accurate to what you see in the film. And they look really nicely sculpted with the foot right there. On the other side, some nice lined sculpts going in right there. And then here on the hind leg, some more of that really nice looking skin texture sculpted in with nice dry brushing, some nice muscles sculpted in as well. Just some overall really nice texture in the skin. You can see where the kneecap is with the nice little folds in the skin right there. Some more texture here on the leg, which looks really nice. So yeah, Mattel really outdone themselves with this one. And kind of saved themselves from having to do a lot of scales, because most of this guy's just all this rough skin texture like an elephant. And here you got the foot back here, which looks really nice. Nice amount of detail sculpted in, decent here on the bottom of the foot, and same with the top of the foot. And it's got 4 digits here on the side right there. Nice little skin wrinkles and creases right here around where the leg attaches to the body. I like these little stretch marks of the skin, as if like the leg's moving and it's pulling the skin. So you got a lot of movement present in the figure. And then moving down the tail, really nice amount of detail, same amount of skin detail sculpted in. And then some really nice wrinkles in the skin down here, kind of giving it like that wrinkly, kind of bulky, muscly appearance to it, which looks really nice. And it's a really hefty big tail too, especially when it came detached in the box. It's a really nice thick tail, nice thick piece of rubber, which, yes, the end part of the tail right here is all rubber. So as you can see right here, you can feel it It's just kind of rubbery, which does remind me, this figure and this rubbery portion right here reminds me of the original Lost World Stegosaurus toy that came out when the movie came out in '97. So that is really cool how it kind of reminds me of that, because I think it's a cool little homage, and it kind of gives you like that classic Lost World vibe a little bit. And then here at the tail, you get the classic Thagomizer. The detail kind of starts to smooth down a little bit towards the tip, but it's not terrible. I'm not complaining. I'm just making a note, and it's very soft and kind of squishy. So really, like I said, it kind of reminds me of the original Lost World Stegosaurus toy. And then the Thagomizers themselves look really nice. As you can see, these two are a bit more smaller, whereas these ones are longer. Kind of cool. You got some little variation in the sizes between the spikes, which is really cool because you'd probably get that in real life. And they're really nicely sculpted too, and they're also rubbery, so they're not like a separate piece. No, they are rubbery, and since they are rubbery, they are painted, so if you use this a lot, chances are paint is going to wear off of the tip of the Thagomizers here. But that's really cool. I like how they're kind of softer, so I guess you're not going to hurt yourself. And then you got the classic plates on the top, which look spot on to what you get in the film. Nicely detailed with these, sculpts in the lines and the texture of each plate. And they have a dry brush on them, so it literally brings out that detail, which looks really great. And I like how the plates are jagged, so it kind of matches how they are in the film. And yeah, the plates just look amazing. The plates on the Jurassic World one are a lot more intimidating, or striking, I should say, because they have like an orange color and they have some stripes in it. I like that a lot more, but these plates look really good too, just for being a standard solid color. And these are all they're all separate pieces of plastic inserted into this sculpt, so they are made of a rubbery material. So here on the back, as you can see, they're very soft, very rubbery little plates, which actually work for a Stegosaurus. Probably better than having them be super stiff and just made of hard plastic. So I really do like how they're made of a rubbery material. And then here on the underside, pretty much your standard awesome detailing that Mattel likes to give. You got the nice wrinkles you got on the bottom of the tail right here. Some more detail here towards the tip of the tail. Here on the underside, some nice skin detail, like some skin wrinkles. It almost looks like scales underneath here, but again, it could be scales, it could be just the wrinkleness texture of the skin, but they do look really nice, as you can see right here. So really nice detail Mattel put into this Stegosaurus. Same here on the underside, just some nice sculpted detail with the lines and the little scale looking texture, and some nice line work here at the lower jaw. So that itself looks really good. Sculpt is spot on. Now for colors, the colors look amazing. It looks just like the Stegosaurus from the film. You got your classic jungly forest green color on top with like this light beige color with the brown plates. It's all there. It's your standard Lost World Stegosaurus coloration, and Mattel did a really good job on this one. So you got the nice beige color for the underside, and that goes all the way to the tip of the tail. I like that. It makes it feel complete rather than it just being cut off at the end. So I really do love that a lot, and I like how it transitions into this dark forest green color, which you get that for primarily the top half of the body, which looks really nice. They all complement each other very nicely, and this is going to look really good in a foresty environment, just like the Lost World. So if I ever get into one of those areas for picture taking, this would be really sweet to take there for pictures. Maybe even facing off against the Allosaurus. That would be pretty darn sweet. So yeah, the green is really nice. I like how here you got some green going on to the limbs, like here around the shoulder, and it kind of fades into that beige color, which the fading is really nice here, especially on the front limb. And I like how it fades very nicely here on the side right here. So kind of outlines this side of the body just being like this bright color, whereas the green is on the top. Some nice fading going on. Now the legs are really nice as well. I like the green. I really wish the fading was a bit better on the hind legs. It just seems like it just stops so abruptly right there. Like if you just cut it in half. I would have liked it if it kind of transitioned a bit more. I guess having the green kind of bleed down just a little bit more, kind of like what they did to the front limb right here. That would have made it look a bit more natural in my opinion. But yeah, it's not the end of the world. And you got some nice transition of the green and the beige here on the tail. which looks really nice. And sometimes the green mixing into the beige kind of gives it like this yellowish brownish appearance. We can see a little bit of that around the face, around the eye, and around some of the parts of the body, kind of giving it some extra different color grading going on, especially here on the tail, which looks really nice. The beak is nicely painted in like a light brown, which I think is the same shade of brown that they use for the plates. So the plates are painted in a nice brown color with almost like a dark mustard yellow brown, probably maybe a different lighter shade of brown, dry brushed onto the plates, so it kind of brings out that nice detail, making them a bit more realistic. And I love the dry brushing, and the dry brushing even attends to the front plates as well as the back ones. Sometimes you don't get that with Mattel, so that is very, very nice. However, the color of the dry brushing on the plates on the back side are a lot more different than the ones here on the body. As you can see, it's like a different shade of a yellow or a brown. This one's like a bit more lighter. This one's a bit more duller, like it blends in with the brown a bit more. This one just kind of sticks out. So that's kind of interesting. Kind of would have been better if it was all kind of consistent, but I just now noticed that just now, so that itself is pretty interesting. The inside of the eyes are just like an orangish color with a black pupil. And then you got almost like a reddish brown color dry brushed onto some of the parts right here, like here on the top of the head, here on the neck, and kind of sprinkled onto the back of the body, and that pretty much goes down all the way to the tail. So that brown is nicely dry brushed onto this figure. Again, bringing out a lot of detail and color, just kind of makes this figure feel a lot more complete. I love it. And then here on the other side, got the same dry brushing going on. It's a bit more thicker here around this part of the joint of the neck, where it kind of looks like it's not supposed to be there, like someone messed it up. So that's somewhat of an eyesore, but not majorly. So I'm not going to get majorly distracted by it, but I will notice it for sure. But it's not the end of the world. But yeah, I got some little bit of maybe paint sloppiness right there, I guess you could say. And then you got a different shade of a brown, maybe the same one for the plates, not the dry brushing part, but the solid color for the plates, sprinkled onto the side right here. That's dry brushed, which looks really nice. I really do like that. It kind of brings out the sculpt a little bit. And then same brown for the plates and the beak you got here on the toes and the fingers. You got the little claws that they have on there, which are painted very nicely. All of the claws are painted, so that itself is really nice. And then you got a little bit of like a greenish color kind of sprinkled into the sculpt, as you can see. That's molded into these one of these paint colors, or the sculpt in general, so it kind of brings out a bit more texture. Even here on the underside, you got a little bit more. There's like this sprinkled green or black color into the figure, which is really nice. And then for the Thagomisers, you got like a nice grayish brown, just a light color for the Thagomisers, which look really darn nice. I just feel like this figure just feels very complete. And I guess apart from the weird transition between the green and the light color on the legs, this figure is solid. I don't really have any problems with it, so I am extremely happy with this one. For articulation, for the head right here, you got a lot of articulation here. So for the head, you can go down and up, so nice amount of movement there, as well as it can rotate. And now included with the neck joint here, you can make it go down, so you can make it look down to drink water or to eat some plants, and you can make it look up, so you can have it look up at a predator or something, or at the sky. And then it can even rotate side to side. Same with the head too, it can also rotate side to side. So you can get some really nice looking side to side poses, which is awesome. I really love that a lot. And then the base of the neck can also rotate, kind of stiff, but you know, it's not like you really need that anyway. So I really do like that. And then here with the arms, they can pivot in and out, just like that. Kind of stiff when you have to put it back down, but it does work. Yeah, and then it can move forward and backwards. And the elbows here, they can move. I believe the other one was a bit more fluent than the other side. Yeah, there you go. They can move forward and backwards, just like that, as well as swivel Then here at the hands, they can go down about that far. You get some nice little walking poses and go up about that far, as well as rotate. So really nice amount of articulation for the front limbs there. And then for the hind legs, they can just move forward and backwards, as well as pivot in and out, which is pretty standard from Mattel. And then you got a knee joint that can just move forward and backward, as well as rotate. And then for the hind foot, much like the front foot, you can just move forward and backwards, as well as rotate. So you got some really nice poseability there. And then the tail, it is rubbery, but you can move it down, so you can put it in like that classic Jurassic World Stegosaurus stance if you really want to, with the droopy tail. But yeah, up and down, left and right, and then it can also swivel very fluently. And then I think this tail is also bendy wire, so let's test that out. Ooh, yeah, the bendy wire works really well. Well, kind of. You can't get it in like super dramatic poses, but you can twist it and turn it in any way you like. So that's really cool. I like the bendy wire tails, even though I don't usually use them all that much. But now we're going to get on to comparisons, because I really want to get into that. First thing I want to compare to is a human figure. So here we have Dr. Henry Loomis, and I'll compare it with the other Stegosaurus, but this Stegosaurus is a much better improvement in terms of size. I love the scale of this thing compared to a human figure. It just stands much taller, just feels a lot more bigger, a lot more intimidating, kind of capture that dangerous animal vibe from the Lost World. So I like that. And here is the Hammond Collection Stegosaurus compared with Mattel's original Stegosaurus, or at least their main sculpt, not this exact figure, but the original sculpts of Stegosaurus. And you can see the huge difference in size right here. These ones are so tiny, you can even see next to a human figure. Like this one's just, we all thought this was good. I mean, it is kind of good. I guess you could say it's a younger individual, but when you compare it to the Hammond Collection one, this size is just so much better. It's so much better. This one's even longer. It's a lot more bulkier, just a lot more impressive. And you can just see how tall it is compared to the originals. And that is just crazy. And it's really cool. And the tail thagomizers just seem a bit more bigger and beefier than the original ones. And then for fun, here is a little baby Stegosaurus. So it looks well at home compared to the adult one here, the big Hammond Collection one. And this is Mattel's attempt at a Lost World Stegosaurus previously. So obviously this one just blows this one out of the water easily. I never got the Hammond Collection baby Stego. I wasn't really that interested. The articulation in the jaw was kind of weird and kind of took it away from me just a little bit. So, and this one is a lot more movie accurate anyway in terms of sculpt. So this one I think looks pretty good compared to the bigger one. And actually, surprisingly, this Stegosaurus doesn't have an articulated jaw, which I think it's much better that way than having a weird distracting segment line for the joint right there. So, but yeah, the Stegosaurus here look really nice. And then for fun, I just threw in the Sinoceratops just to show you how big the Stegosaurus is. Because obviously the Sinoceratops is a bit more smaller than it should be, but it's nice to see these bigger herbivores get some love. Now we just need a big Hammond Collection Triceratops. We already got a big Habitat Defender one, but now we need a good articulated one. Hopefully someday in the future. So everyone, that's about to wrap it up for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I highly recommend picking this guy up if you ever find it at Target. Definitely get this Hammond Collection Stegosaurus. It is definitely worth it, especially if you're a fan of its design or the Lost World. It is definitely worth it. The articulation, the colors, the sculpt, the size, everything you could ever want in a Jurassic Park Stegosaurus figure, in my opinion. So it is definitely really worth it to get it and add it to your collection. So hope you guys enjoyed this review. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again for the next video.